Hey friends, it's Chandler. And this evening I want to take a minute or two and talk about something that I think a lot of people don't do and they probably should, which is that anytime you've opened up a motor for any reason, you need to do what's called a pressure test. And this is how you check that the motor doesn't have any air leaks. Because if you've got an air leak, it's going to introduce lean conditions. It's going to create a really high likelihood that you're going to seize the motor and possibly do some damage at some point. But it's also something that a lot of people try and basically work around by just richening up their jetting, which may kind of save you some of the time, but eventually, uh, if you're doing any sort of significant wide open throttle type work, it's going to catch up and leave you on the side of the road. And once that happens, the only way you're getting home is by pushing it or putting it in a truck. So essentially, what you do is you're going to close up the intake for where the carburetor goes on and the exhaust, and inflate the thing to like 8 or 9 psi and make sure that it doesn't leak down. And the way you do this is that you get a couple of drain plugs, and so that's one of these guys, and it sticks in. And since I happen to have a jug here, you can see this is the exhaust, so normally it'd be like that. So this guy, we take him, we stick him in here, like so. I'm going to take a wrench, crank it down, and so it seals. Then on the intake side, you're going to cover that up with a piece of rubber. And so if you're running a side draft carb like I am, you can use another plug like this. If you're running a standard SI downdraft carb, you can install it with, you basically just put it under the carburetor, bolt the carburetor back on, and that'll hold any after that. Then you need something, and so I built this. And so what I've got is, this is goes in the spark plug hole. This is standard air tool fitting, goes on here. Pressure gauge, so we've got a brass T, we've got a ball valve, then that connects into a check valve, which is not strictly necessary, but I added it to a Schrader valve, so just basically go straight to my bike pump. So I can plug it in, screws into cylinder head, and then the whole thing will air up, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so kind of get everyone up to speed. Last I was here, I was getting ready to pressure test my motor, and it didn't do so well. So first thing I found was that I broke through the side of one of the ports when I was opening them up, porting these cases. And the epoxy that I had put on it to hold it in place, because I unfortunately can't TIG weld in order to build that area up with aluminum, which is really the proper thing to do. So usually I'll use like JB Weld, something like that, and didn't get it well enough attached, I guess, so it had popped off. So I've got had a little hole there. Had to fix that. So I get that fixed, get the motor all buttoned up, put it back together, go to pressure test it, and discovered that my clutch side seal was leaking. And the thing about the clutch side seal is that it sits behind the crank. So the only way to get to it is to take the entire motor apart, pull the crank out, replace the seal. So I did that, got it all buttoned up, put back together, and discovered I had a small air leak where I added the nipple on the back of my manifold for my fuel pump. Again, not a huge deal, got that fixed, put it back together, about to declare victory, and I happen to look down and I see I see the kickstart gear. I forgot it. So take the whole motor apart, split the cases, put the kickstart gear back in, put it all back together, seal it all back up, and finally, pressure test it, and it's looking good. You know, hopefully that won't take me too long, and it'll still be decent time to. Oh, there's someone come to visit us. Hello, puppers. So anyway, maybe I'll even have a chance to kick it over and see how it's doing. And my guess is it's going to be real rich, because I've been trying to jet around. Were actually air leaks that I didn't realize I had, and but we'll see. All right, we are buttoned up. We're nice and tight. No air leaks. Everything's back together. Pipes on. So I just kind of took a very random swag on the timing, but did mark top dead center. So let's see what happens on kind of my first attempt at a restart here, and see how much of a pain in the butt it's going to be to get this thing going back on track again. That could have been a whole lot worse than just leaving the flywheel holder on. Okay, pretty good first start. Sounds like my guess is timing is going to be way advanced, but we'll see. Degrees, and we're back. So let's see how this thing does this time. It's time to button it up now, and maybe go for a real quick ride before it gets totally dark.